Good morning. And that was lovely. I'm going to give my cameraman a thumbs up if he's looking. There we go. All right. Now, seriously, good morning. Good morning. I have the pleasure of introducing the most amazing human being on the planet, Dawn Earhart Whitty. She is the founder of the Desire to Inspire Foundation and co-founder of I Give On Marketplace. Being a mom is her proudest role and title. Because of her love of children, she started the Desire to Inspire Foundation, which provides children around the world with a mother's care and love. She is working to eradicate hunger and poverty everywhere. She is also the co-founder of the Bee Tour. She is my friend, my mentor, and amazing. Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is very loud. This is our kickoff event, our inaugural event, and this started about a year or so ago when we were talking about how we could make the world a better place. As Deborah said, I am the founder of the Desire to Inspire Foundation, and one of the things that I do when I go to Africa and talk to the children who have literally nothing is I tell them that they're special, that each one of them is here for a reason, that no one else can do the thing that they were put here to do, that they've got special gifts, and we want to help them use those gifts and bring them to the world. And I thought, you know, that message isn't just for children in Africa, that message is for everybody. So the Bee Tour started with my desire to bring that same message to people in America. We have epidemics of school shootings, we've got children cutting themselves, eating disorders, we've got a lot of antidepressants being used, and you know, we have all of the resources that the children in Africa just dream about. And I'm talking about things like water, food, Band-Aids. Yet, we still don't have that joy that they seem to just understand with so little. So, in that, I wrote a book, and my book I started writing because I thought being a mom is my favorite thing. And one of my daughters is here, Carrie. I'm going to embarrass you. Say hi. Hi, Carrie. I thought if there were things that, if I wasn't here anymore, there are some things I want to let my daughters know, things that I really feel very strongly about. So I don't like to read when I'm on stage because it's hard to read little print. But I think this kind of sums up my book, the reason I wrote it, and this tour. To be or not to be, good question. Here's another. What if we all chose to be what we choose to see in the world? What would we see? Imagine if everyone chose to come from a place of love, where helping each other and kindness were their own currency, a place where we all understood that we're all in this together, and that there is far more we can accomplish by joining forces rather than existing only for ourselves. And I say only for ourselves. This world may sound like a fanciful utopia, but it doesn't have to be. We all have the power within ourselves to make the world a brighter, more hopeful place. The secret to happiness is not much of a secret at all. Many great thinkers and leaders understood this. We remember the words of people like Buddha, Jesus, Mother Teresa, Socrates, Plato, Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, and so many others because they lived lives of love for all of humanity. They understood universal truths and lived their lives inspiring others through their words and their deeds. This is why we know their names. This is why we remember and revere them long after they have departed this earth. When this life ends, as it will for all of us one day, what will we be remembered for? What memories do we want those who love us to hold and cherish? How many lives will we have touched while we were here? Will we have touched those lives in love or in something else? These are questions I ask myself often. These are questions I think they're good ones to ponder. There's no question that we cannot receive without giving. I also understand that helping others nourishes the soul. I will continue to look at the world through my love-colored lenses. It is a very beautiful world. Even the difficult, I love every moment, even the difficult ones, the hard ones, because there's always something to be learned in those moments. I strive to be the 7 words I write about every single day, and some days I may not feel like I even have the energy to do one of those words. Being kind is a reach. But when we give a little bit of ourselves to each other, each and every day expecting nothing in return, what we find is that there is in fact a huge return, a very large and beautiful return in your heart. It works, it really does. It's how I live my life, and this is what I try to share with others. You know, again, sometimes it's harder than others. But, you know, there's a lot of political debate, there's a lot of anger in some of the discord, and what we wanted to do is add our voices to the conversations, but our voices are of love and understanding. And to get 8 people to agree on putting together a conference like this, let me tell you, it is a challenge, but we all come from a place of love. We're all amazing human beings. I am so excited to have each and every one of these people in this group. They inspire me every single day, and we want to share some of the inspiration that we get on a daily basis with everybody else, because we've been journeying through this self-discovery and, you know, getting aha moments every day. So that's what we brought everybody here together to do. I know sometimes we don't like doing the exercises, the icebreakers, but I'm going to make everybody do an icebreaker activity. So if you came with somebody, you cannot use this person as your partner. You have to find somebody else. I want everybody to think of 2 facts about themselves, and 1 thing that's completely wrong, something completely false. And then go introduce yourself to somebody and tell them those 3 things, and they have to guess which one it is. So this is going to be your responsibility to come up with something believable, yet not true. And so I'm going to give you a few minutes to pick your partner, to come up with your truths and your falsehood, and introduce yourselves to one another. Does everybody have a partner? Jasmine and Tasha? Go pick a partner. your lie? All right, so we're going to give you other opportunities to mingle and get to know one another throughout the day. But that was just a little icebreaker activity. Okay, now I have the pleasure of introducing a very beautiful, amazing friend, mother, sister of the heart. Jasmine Montoya is a transformational life coach. She's an intuitive energy healer. She is a co-founder of the B Group, and she is here to talk to us today about self-love. Jasmine Montoya, I would like everybody to welcome her to the stage.
Hello, everybody. How are you? I don't want to stand up there because I just feel like a teacher, and that's not who I am. Just want to make sure the camera, though, is angled. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So yeah, that's me, guys. Holy crap, right? I want to share a story, personal story about triumph through failure and about loving yourself and what that really means. And so here's a story of a woman who, by all accounts, friends and family, she's strong. You go to her for everything. You need something done, that's your girl. You know, who's running a marathon next week? That's your girl, it's me. I can do it all. I'm a robot. And that's something that I've kind of put on myself. That's something that was put on me by my parents. That was just the role I played. And so everything was to achieve something, to prove something to this world, to prove my self-worth. Running for me, though, was always my escape. I suffer from anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder as well. And running for me was my escape. I could run for hours and get lost in nature and not worry about a thing. So I took running up in my 20s. I started running races. Every year I run a race. I run one big race, a marathon, and then a few others. Even when I was married and now I'm a mom, I made sure that running was my priority, or at least one of the top ones. I didn't want to give that up. I said, that's my thing. This is who I am. I need it. And so this year, you know, it was one of those years that I could put to rest once 2018 is over, but I really wanted to challenge myself physically because there was so much going on in my life. I'm transitioning from a married woman to a divorced woman. I moved from New York to California. Like, my whole life was just turned upside down in the best way possible, but those are when you really need to look within to find out what your purpose is in life. So I decided, as I do, I have so much on my plate, but heck, I need to run a race. And marathons to me now are boring, so why not step it up a notch, really put my, my physical training into challenge, because I wanted a challenge. I love challenges. So let's sign up for an ultra. And it's a 30K, it's about 4 or more miles, but I also wanted to challenge myself even more, so it's not only an ultra, but it's one of the toughest ultras in California. Go figure. I didn't read the little fine print, but I was excited once I found out that, the elevation was about 12,000 feet up for the first 10 miles. Yeah, amazing. But, I trained. I'm a working mom. I decided to do my running, mid-lunch. So high noon outside in the desert in California, the sun was beating on me. I would run for hours. This was something I knew. This wasn't, I love doing this. This is how I train. This is, how I implement my life. I even had a friend from New York come and run, to run the race with me. And we end up going. I'm all prepared. I have everything I need. And the night before, something wasn't right. And there was an unsettling in my body where I've had nerves before. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just my nerves. The next day, pack up my my camelback, ready to go to the race. I'm like, I can do this. I don't know what's going on. I have nothing in my system. I can't hold anything, but I can do this. I've done this before, 30 miles. No, I've never done 30 miles, but I've done 26. I'm good. Just kind of, doing that rhetoric that we do in our head. I got this, I got this. Even my friend was like, you're fine. I know once you start, we got this. Well, I started. And within 1 mile, I was like, I don't have it. I can't do it. The first aid station, which is where, you get water, is 8 miles in, and there's no way I can fake it to that. I was trying to figure out ways to. The runners, the running community, if you don't know them, they're amazing. And they were stopping, and they have a time crunch. They have, they have their own stuff going on, but they would stop. And what do you need? Your stomach? What is it? Let me help you. You gotta start this. You gotta complete this. You gotta at least try. And that's who I am. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I don't mind if I don't finish. I'm not about that. It's just like I know what I'm capable of doing, and this 1 mile is not my capability. But my body gave out. I could not even do 1 step, and I was defeated. I waited 10 more minutes to see if maybe some other download, some kind of, I don't know, miracle would come and like swoop me in, and I can just still at least try it. One thing I wanted to add is I am very vocal on Instagram, so I have a following. So this is part of my following. This is part of my story. Like, she's going to run an ultra. This is something that she's been training for. I was also raising money for the borehole, which is part of the Desire to Inspire Foundation. So there was a lot of people looking at me, and I wanted this to be public because I wanted people to see, like, look, I'm a mom. I can do it all. So I was like, I can't. I started walking. Tears I just couldn't stop. It was at that time where I felt like, God, I'm like nothing. Like, people are going to see this, and what am I going to say? What am I going to say to my friends? What am I going to say to my family? What am I going to say to my followers? Like, they're expecting this big ending, this like, she did it, my medal. I'm always so proud of showing my medal. And I was just walking back, like, how could this happen? And just, you kind of go through all your training, you go through everything that people have said, maybe it's the altitude, maybe it's this. And I just sat there, and I was just crying and crying. And I'm like, there's a huge lesson here, because I don't fail. At least I don't think I fail. And I try very hard not to fail, because I have a lot of people always counting on me. So what is the lesson here? And in the biggest failure of well, I wouldn't say the biggest failure, but one of the biggest failures, I think, in my life, I thought, well, normally I would push myself, because that's what I do. Like, everybody expected me to finish. Like, there was no, like, she has this. Normally, old Jasmine would push herself and be like, okay, well, if I'm going to get hospitalized, I'm going to get hospitalized. Like, I'm going to go down fighting because I worked so hard for this. Even though my body, like, there's no way that you could run a race without having anything in your system, especially a 30K, especially in Big Bear, especially with that heat that was going on. I couldn't even hold water. There was no way I could do that. So what's the lesson here? For the first time in my life, I'm 36 years old, for the first time I heard myself. And I heard that voice that said, no more. You just can't do this. This is how you've been living your life. You've been pushing and hustling and just plowing through things and having nervous breakdowns and having burnouts and having to like pick up yourself because you just give so much to everybody and you try to prove your self-worth to everybody, running those marathons, being superwoman, that I'm done. That's what my body was telling me. I'm done. Like, you know, you want to try to fake it, I'll test you. You can't fake it. I'm your body. I'm your mind. I'm your soul. There's no way of escaping this. This was my time to really take a good look at myself and say, what the hell have I been doing? And I have a son that's 4. So what am I showing him? To push? To force your body to do things when you just can't? Because you're afraid of people saying, oh, okay, well, you know, she doesn't complete things, so like don't go to her. Or, you know, I loved it. Like, Jasmine, yeah, she runs marathons. She's so strong. And when people would say that, like, it would just give me such a fulfillment. Even though I didn't believe it, even though I'm like, I'm chicken shit, actually. I'm scared of a lot, but I just pushed myself because I didn't want to be like my mom, you know? And so, yeah, it was a hard lesson. It was something that I knew living this life of just pushing myself to the breaking point was not healthy. And that this was the accumulation of everything I've been doing for so many years. And understanding that, wow, it's not somebody like looking at me and saying like, you did it. Like, look at you, like you accomplished something that nobody could. It was about me looking at myself and saying like, shit, like you got this, girl. Like you did it all by yourself. And even you trained, you ran the mile. So like, you're okay. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to push your body. You don't have to hospitalize yourself. You don't have to, break down for love. And so if there's anything you get out of this, and that led to so much of a domino effect of me knowing that I chose and I attracted things that were not serving me because I didn't want to be loved, or I didn't know how to be loved, or my parents, unfortunately, weren't taught that. So in turn, it's just this generational cycle that happens where, to me, love was conditional. To me, love was prove your self-worth. And so if there's anything that I leave you with is that you don't got to prove your self-worth to anybody, including yourself, because we're our worst critics. And somebody can say something about me, and I'll sting, but it's the internal dialogue that really affects you. So you are enough, just the way you are. Sorry, I keep on going like that. You are enough just the way you are. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. And especially kind of reiterating what Dawn said about the way the world is and the message about spreading love and kindness. And that's all true, but understand that it first starts with you. So first do that for yourself, and then you'll see the change happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to be the teacher up here. Actually, it's safer for me to stay down there with no steps. Thank you, Jasmine. Her support for me and for the Desire to Inspire Foundation and for everybody I know that knows her. She's an amazing, amazing woman. Okay, our next speaker. We know that he is a doctor because this is his handwriting. Dr. Sergio Garcia Guillen. He is a doctor, he's a healer, he is an interpretive and intuitive therapy healer and a theta healing master in science. I am so fortunate that I got the opportunity to have him come into our lives. I think they say nothing is an accident, so we got a Sergio, and he has taught us a lot about theta healing, and I want him to share his message with you all now. Dr. Sergio.
Okay, it's the first time I'm going to speak in public in English. So, and with a microphone, so it's a new thing, both. You can hear me without it? You need it? Okay, I will do my best. Okay, what do you think if we do first little meditation? Is that okay? So, I'm going to ask you to sit comfortable and embody a posture like resemble dignity. I'm sorry, I can't resist. I have to do the gong thing. So it's optional if you want to close your eyes, or you can keep it open. So just feel your body and center your attention in your heart. Now, using our creative imagination, you're going to travel down to the center of the earth. Just try to feel with your imagination what is there. even the smell of the center of the earth, maybe the earth, the wind, the different elements is made of, and gather energy from there, creating a ball of light. And bring it to you. This ball of light is going to enter to your body through your feet, and just feel how this energy is traveling all the way to the top of your head. Just notice the space between your toes, the density of your legs, maybe to your seat bones, in the weight in the chair you are sitting. Just feel it, how it's traveling all the way to the top of your head. You may notice a column of light in front of the backbone. It's try to feel your whole body as one. Now, as well with your imagination, you're going to create a sphere of light of colors on the top of your head, and you may feel a little pressure on it, like somebody's placing a thumb. And from that, now you're going to put your consciousness and somehow inside of this sphere of light. Of course, if you have even more imagination, you can create a rocket, a space rocket, spaceship, or any other transportation. And now we're going to travel out to the outer space. Just start traveling all the way upwards. If you see behind you, you may see the Earth getting smaller and smaller. And you just keep traveling upward all the way. You may see other galaxies, other planets, and you are going to go through some brilliant white light. Then in this trip, you may find some golden lights. Also, you want to go through them. And keep just moving upward, until you find a space where there is a substance like jelly-like substance, and very brilliant colors. Keep moving upward, and try to see what is the most brilliant white light you have ever seen. Approach it. And you may see also a pink dust, a pink mist, or maybe a little foggy. This is the law of compassion. And it's going to surround you, as well as going to open the door to this white light. The door, maybe it's a triangle, maybe it's a circle, or you're just going to get into that place of light, or white light. Like submerging into this light, which is a little bit liquid, mainly white, but a little sparkles of pink and blue. Just feel this light enter into your whole body, to the atoms, to the molecules of your body. You may feel like in this light you are connected with everything. And breathe in and breathe out this energy. We call it unconditional love. We call it to the chi. And it's the conscious energy of the creation. Just bath in it, this liquid light. And just notice like your whole body, your whole being is full of this energy. Like you are created from this energy as well. And every worry you have now, just see how it's dissolving into this light. Every doubt, Every question is being resolved. You feel full, you feel completed and full accepted by this light. Just breathe a couple of times more. Now, we're going to image like you are now in your body, just keeping your eyes closed. And with this imagination, now you're going to see around you, even yourself. And beyond the form or the shape of your body, you will see this light. It's a column of light. Usually it's white with a little blue or greenish. Just observe yourself from around, like you were a second person. You'll see like behind all these layers of skin, bones, muscle, and ideas is this light. And now you want to see around you, you see like everybody who is in this place also is this light. No more, no less, it's the same. It doesn't matter if it's man, it's woman, it's old, it's young, it doesn't matter. It's the same. It's made of the same stuff like you. You just contemplate that and feel it. And feel like the space in between is also light. Like you are connected with everybody who is in this place around and even beyond. And now put your attention in your body. Start feeling your body. Maybe moving a little bit your fingers, toes. And keep this feeling to be completed. Keep this feeling of being this light. And you can open your eyes when you are ready. And maybe see around. See everybody who is around and see and keep this idea and this image that you had before. Like the people is made of the same light. That was fast. Everybody's open. Okay. So, okay, my name is Sergio Garcia Guillen. I like to say my it's one single last name, but probably in my culture we have two, at least my family culture. And I say also the second one, Guillen, because it's my mother's last name. And this both Garcia, okay, maybe you know, it's one of the most common last names in Spanish. And I think the last time I saw in California was the 7th most common last names. And a little weird, I think it's like the 7th also in Mexico, and Spanish is the first. And Guillen is coming from wheel, from the Germans. And it transformed in different, Guillem in Catalan and Guillen in Spanish. And I mentioned these two things just because I like to give honor to my mother as well, but also the ancestors. Among them, of course, I can find somebody who is for probably Catalan, Purépecha, which is other of the civilizations in central West Mexico. It's not very well known outside of Mexico, but it was one of the second. It was the second. Mayas were a little widespread in the jungle, but the two cultures standing at that time was Mexica and Purépecha. So my grandfather was from that culture, and the reason I am saying that is because talking about the topic of what we are, we came with how our genes are transporting us, given, and we are inheriting ideas, concepts, and beliefs through them. So, for example, we have issues with Native Americans, and also I have ancestry also from Africa. Like many of this continent, we have ancestry from everywhere. So in terms of the ideology, sometimes in our head we have this fight, and our ancestors are fighting through ideologies, also through beliefs. So I remember some friends, like one of them from northern Mexico, when we were talking about the Spaniards came and they did this and do that, they destroyed the civilization. And it was so funny, but he's a redhead. And we see each other and we realize, actually we don't look like Aztecs or Mexicas, and probably we are not very well connected with them, but still we are complaining about Europeans conquesting this continent. And so it was funny, it was interesting for me. So at some point I was reading a little more about history, and then I realized like the history wasn't gone. I mean, we still live in that history. And even one of in the practice I am doing now, it's quite easy to see like this concept of the time is going to heal whatever problem we have. We see like it's not exactly true in all the cases. And many people is carry on traumas from past generations. And even I will say, in some cases, like 3 or 4 or even more generations, some people when we are in integral healing, we get in this state a little bit like the meditation. And sometimes we can see or we can track some beliefs. Like for example, I have a friend, like she has Irish and German ancestry, but in 1846 around, it was this famine in Central Europe as well in Ireland, and she kept some of the beliefs from that time. So even if she wanted to spend more money on something, she wanted to all the time like save something. In general, the work I am doing, and what is the reason I chose this topic about the integrative, is like we see the spirituality of everybody as well. The mental and the physical body is constantly interacting through belief systems. So if we have how we see is like the belief system is somehow the software of the mind, who is through genes and through energy is manifesting in thoughts, and thoughts as emotions. Emotion is the part where we have all these physiological reaction. You're sad, you have lower serotonin, lower dopamine, probably more cortisol, and you are happy, you are content, you have dopamine more stable, and so this is the emotional part. And then through emotions and behavior, we express everything else. Even some people, sometimes we think we have prejudice against certain people, even, there are many cases, of course. And sometimes it's a situation from our ancestors coming up in any situation, in any moment. And sometimes they are dormant, and however, the environment sometimes is triggering those beliefs. So in this area, we see like the whole body is, and mind, the mind, the body, the belief systems are constantly interacting. So there is no separation. That's why I did the meditation at the beginning, because in part of this work is to go before and after any interaction to that light. So if we can recognize each other from what is the beginning of everything, I think it's going to be easier to calm down those beliefs or in all situations. Dawn was talking a little bit about the situation, political, and I don't know, many issues that is happening today. And one of the things we learn in this also is like everything is an opinion. If we see the world as a bunch of opinions coming to us, and we have the power to take it or leave it or even pause it, it's going to be easier, everything. Even this, why I'm saying now, if a politician is saying hatred speech or love speech, we have the chance to decide, okay, this is this opinion, I can take it or I cannot take it. And so, of course, if we feel something is triggered after that, we may look back. Maybe it's something like our ancestors also had have a problem with that, the same thing. Or it can be from cultures, or can be even ourselves having this internal fight between the belief system or our ancestors. So when we are more harmonized in this light, we can also enhance the beliefs that are serving us for the best in this life, and the others, you just let it go with ease. And since I was a kid, a teenager, I started doing meditation, and it was hard to do it, especially in some years. And yeah. And so when I started clearing up the issues, it was easier to meditate by myself. So yeah.
So we did a meditation.
Yeah.
And that was, do you want to just to conclude what healing or what are the attributes to doing a meditation like that?
Yeah, in Theta Healing, we believe like when you reach this point, we call it Theta Healing because we reach the Theta brain waves, which is very close to Delta. That's why sometimes we feel a little sleepy. And we believe like when we align with that energy, also our body is resetting the energy. So we can liberate something, we can change something from that. And it is the place we are working. It feels a little bit like you are in a hypnotic state because hypnosis also uses the same brain waves. However, in this is very interactive. You have to be awakened. And so you're bringing from the 90% of our programming is from the subconscious, and we are bringing to the conscious. So it makes everything, I would say, funnier. And yeah, that's that. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
So the mind-body connection is very fascinating. When you think about your state of being actually affecting your health, it really, really does. And Sergio's got a lot of information about that. So again, you'll have a chance to talk to everybody at different points throughout the day. The next speaker I would love to introduce is my very good friend, Natasha Mescal. Her speech today is going to be on perception and choice, which is so good for all of us. Natasha is from Croatia, and I don't have her card. Let me see it. Is it up there? She is the mom of 3. I knew that. She is a dream builder coach. She is an amazing artist. She's a creative expression instructor for youth and adolescents, about self-esteem and leadership instructor. She is also a speaker, and and co-founder of the B Tour. Welcome, Natasha.
Thank you. You see the world how you feel. I don't know, for me this was an amazing example. Did you guys feel differently with the same round of heads? Isn't it a fantastic illustration? It makes such a big difference. So, my name is Natasha, but first I would like to thank you for coming to experiment with a B Tour, what we can offer. And our commit. I will try to do my best to share with you some of the more deepened awarenesses and tools I discovered fairly recently. It was like, I don't know why it took me so long, but I thought maybe it might be useful to somebody else as well. So first I have one question. Did you ever feel stuck in your life? Like you don't have choices, like really stuck, right? Thank you, I'm not the only one. Oh, I had quite a few of those periods, and some of them were very long. So, how would you like just so I can reinforce with a slide. So how would you like the idea that you are truly aware, when you really need it, the fact that you always have a power of choice? How would you like to learn how to choose your perception? How would you like not to have have-tos in your life? Can I see show of hands who would like some of those things? Yay, all right. Then it's not bad that I'm here, I hope. Things usually happen, right? And then I do, probably you do, we all do. We kind of assigned, is this a bad thing for me or a good thing, right? And amazingly so, this kind of decision, this is like automatic by default. This kind of decision, really, when you think about it, attracts kind of positive or negative energy. And that energy kind of determines your perception, what you focus on, your attitude. And in return, all of those things would affect your subsequent choices. Like, what will you do in response to the thing that happened? But what is a great news, I discovered, you can actually choose your perception and what do you pay your attention to. So, are we really can any of you say that you're 100% sure if something is good or bad for you in the moment that it happens? You know, I ask myself that. Actually, I want to share one story with you. So a few years ago, I met a friend from my students' day that we didn't see each other a really, really long time. So we met for coffee, and, you know, we're sharing, like, what happened in our lives, what are the changes. And at that time in my life, I was not in a good place. I was hunted by guilt that I allowed some things to happen, that I was convinced affected very negatively people I care about, and was kind of caught in this circle of self-pity and, you know, and a guilt, and I had a hard time seeing ahead. Well, my friends stopped me and said, Natasha, wait, are you 100% sure there was nothing good resulting from that? Are you 100% sure this was only bad? And my first thought was yes. I was like, wait, let me share a story with you. So this story made me think, so I want to share it with you. So a story is about the old farmer who lived with his son and with the old horse and working very hard just to, you know, tie things over. And one morning, while he was working with his old horse, he really couldn't do it. The farmer was compassionate. He said, you know what, you served me well for so many years, and he let his horse go. When he came home, neighbors started commenting, you're too generous, what will you do now? How will you survive? Only you and your son. But the farmer just gently smiled and said, who knows? We'll see. And guess what? 2 days later, the old horse came back, all refreshed, rejuvenated, by rest, by good pasture, and 6 young, healthy horses followed him in a corral. Now the neighbors thought, oh, you're so lucky. You'll finally have a help. It will be a little bit easier in your life. But the farmer is, who knows? We'll see. And the next morning, his son was training one of the new horses and fell and broke his leg. How bad is that? Now, his son is not available, the horses are not trained yet. What will you do? But the farmer just gently smiled and said, who knows, we'll see. But 3 days after that, when the war broke out, and an emperor sent his men to draft all the young men, they didn't grab his son because he had a broken leg. That story made me think. It made me pause and think. Because, you know, by default, I would totally have opposite opinion. And then my friend also shared his personal experience. He was like oral surgeon, so very fine motor skills in his hands were very important, and he broke his wrist. And he was devastated. He thought this will destroy his career. But he said, you know what actually happened? For 6 weeks, I couldn't do anything. I so connected on such a much deeper level with my 8-year-old daughter that we have incredible relationship that flourishes even today. Really, do we know if something is 100% good or bad for us? So I concluded not necessarily. Actually, most of the time, we do not know it until later because it depends on the future circumstances. And I start seeing possibility that maybe there was some good in my experience and start being gentler towards myself. Start seeing some possibilities. Even Steve Jobs stated, you can't connect dots looking forward, you can just connect them looking backward. So my conclusion was the best what we can do in any given moment works the best for me. And if I can keep one part of my mind open-minded for some maybe other outcomes, I position myself much better for making future choices. So, have you ever had something that seemed awful happen to you, but then you realized that something good came out of it? Right? So, do you have any have-tos? Who has have-tos? Can you give me a few? Popcorn style? Yeah. Work. School, right? Oh my God, I was hunted with have-tos. It's like I'm a very responsible person, right? One of my big ones was I have to work. I have to work. And I have to work, and this often made my work harder even than the work itself. But then, thanks to Insight Seminars from Santa Monica, a wonderful program, by the way, they helped me discover that, hey, maybe there is an option that if I look at the same fact slightly differently, I will feel very different about it. So one of my have-tos was I have to work. And, but listen, what's the worst thing that can happen if I wouldn't work? Now, if I say myself, I have to work, or if I say, no, I choose to work, because if I work, I will not end up homeless, not be able to take care of my kids. Sounded a heck of a lot better. So, why don't you try in your head or aloud? Just pick one of your have-tos, think what's the worst that can happen if you wouldn't do that, and then reformat it to I choose to, because I would rather do you have to than worst possible scenario. Try it. Does it feel different? Yeah? Anybody felt different? So, how I summarize it to myself, so what affects your choices? Your attitude, that was my conclusion. Your perception and your expectations. And then I ask myself, well, but what can I choose? I can choose what to focus on, my attitude and perception, and what to do if I'm lucky. You can't always choose the circumstances, but you always do have a choice in what you focus on, your perception, and your attitude. And most of the time, we have more choices than we are aware of. I love this picture that I got from my friend. It came with the notes, if you focus your attention only on a problem, it is very likely you might miss the solutions being offered. So I remind myself every once in a while. And then every choice has a consequence. Even not making a choice has a consequence. This one took me 20 years. But better ever than never. And And actually both, not choosing and unconsciously choosing, have a consequence as well. So we might as well try to consciously choose what we think will serve us well. So how did this awareness that I'm trying to share with you made a difference? So first, an open attitude and my willingness when I catch myself that I'm going in a direction I do not like to choose the perception, it would kind of set up the environment where I will be able to make the choices that will serve me best. And with a greater awareness, often, not just understanding, but I see so much more opportunities. And it helps me be more inspired and kind and gentle and strong and loving and happy. Are you willing to consider trying? Your choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. You get to speak at the B Tour. All right, everybody, we have scheduled a coffee break right now, but the coffee's not quite out. So I'm gonna just do a little bit of crazy thing, and I'm gonna have Stephanie come up here and lead us into the coffee break with a little thought-provoking exercise. Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I just kind of wanted to spark your curiosity this morning. And I wanted you just, first of all, can we close our eyes and just take a deep breath? And one more. So I just wanted each one of you to imagine for me just for a moment that every single day of your life that you had $86,400 in an account in your name that was given to you on a daily basis. How would you spend that money? What would you do with it? It's yours to spend however you'd like. $86,400 every day. Now you cannot save it, and at the end of the day, what you didn't spend is gone forever. So just imagine that for just a moment. Now, in reality, we do have this kind of bank, but instead of money, it's time. And so each morning when we wake up, we have 86,400 seconds in a 24-hour period. So I just want you to think about this real seriously. How will you spend that time? So we're going to give you about 10 minutes or so to, if you would, and you feel comfortable, if you would also grab a partner and you would share with that partner how you would spend that money or how you would spend that time. Thank you.
So instead of just grabbing a partner, we can kind of take a break for our coffee and come stand, shake it off, walk around, talk to people, and then we'll resume at about, what time is it now? 11:20, so at about 11:35.
just kind of wanted to conclude the question that I asked you before we went to break, and to see if anyone would like to share maybe how you would like to spend your time or money and what that means for you. Anyone? Okay. Well, thank you very much, and just keep that in mind as you're going throughout your daily routine, that you have 86,400 seconds in every day. Choose it wisely. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Sorry about the little glitch in timing. I apologize to everyone. Oh, it is such an honor to introduce our next speaker. Deborah Louise Brown is a soulful book coach, publisher, and product creator. She has over 30 years' experience as a publicist, marketer, editor, publisher, and freelance commercial writer. Deborah operates a boutique firm that provides platform building and publishing for I knew I was going to say this wrong, authorpreneurs, including editing and formatting their legacy books. She has helped me do my book. She has helped Laura Swan put together her amazing books. I would like us all to welcome Deborah Louise Brown.
Okay. Authorpreneur is a hard word to say, so I get that. All right, imagine with me a crisp autumn day, and you see a little girl walking home from school. She is wearing a mint green dress with a big bow tied in the back. She's got a crisp white crinoline underneath to hold the skirt just so. We don't wear those anymore. She's trudging slowly, feeling the weight of her black patent leather shoes against the concrete. And she's sad. Big golden tears are sliding gently down her face. She is bewildered and sad and destroyed by something that has happened. All the children have been sent home early. And the reason is President John F. Kennedy has just been shot and killed. The little girl is going home to be with her mother and father, who are heartbroken. The entire nation is heartbroken. Camelot is broken. Innocence is broken. The little girl decided that day to be a change maker. She became a helper, a nurturer, a caregiver at home, in business, and in community service. For decades, she served with joy and no expectation of money. Then she decided to make serving others her business. Her livelihood now depended upon actually asking for money. How many people like to ask for money? How many people are coaches? How many people are coaches or light workers or, okay. Okay. And you have to have a shift in consciousness around money and charging for services as a coach, a light worker, a healer. How many are healers? Okay. Well, this little girl finally had an epiphany. A light came on, thank goodness, and a slogan was born. And the slogan is, serve and be served. That means that you can indeed shine your light on another person's path, make their path brighter and work better for them, and still be true to your own dreams. Are you all familiar with what's called flashbulb memories? Okay. Well, it's a psychology term, and it means when something horrible happens, like in a national catastrophe, for example, you remember when it happened, you remember where you were, you remember what you were wearing, you remember all the circumstances. Okay, that's called a flashbulb memory. So that thing about the JFK, the day that JFK died, that is a flashbulb memory for many, many people of that age, that were alive then. A lot of you are not even alive then, I realize that. But there are others that have happened, and clearly we know that. The day the Challenger space shuttle crashed and broke up in the sky, the day the Twin Towers came down, obviously, and then on one of the most horrible days that I can ever think of is the day those beautiful 20 children were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School. That is a day where change makers decide to step up, step into their greatness, and make a bigger difference if they possibly can. Would you agree with that? Absolutely. Okay, so we have a sacred trust as change makers to step in and step up so that we can, in fact, add more light and love whenever any of that stuff happens. And Dawn mentioned that when she was doing her thing. But we can add good and harmony and allow good and harmony to reign if that's our mission. And I know that is our mission, right? How many salespeople are in the room? Okay, let's try that again. I want to see every hand. How many salespeople are in the room? All hands. Everybody. Front row. Salespeople. Thank you. All right. Adding light and love in our world has a price tag. It does. It has a price tag. And it's not necessarily money, but it's time, energy, and resources, right? So you have to sell. What you're wearing, how your business cards look, everything about how you do, everything you do today is selling. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. I've been selling my whole entire life. Many of us have a problem asking for money, charging for our services, staying in integrity with a business model that actually builds wealth and changes the world. I like the fact that you're yes. I love that. Because we think that if we're changing the world, we should just do it out of, sense of honor and, we got to do it. It's in our DNA. But we can do this. So how do we serve and be served? Well, that's where my little thing comes in where I say, get your ask in gear. There's a K on the end of that. Get your ask in gear. So I'm saying ask for what you want and take care of what you get. Ask for what you want and take care of what you get. Now, TAKE is actually a really cool acronym. All right, so you can take notes because this is going to be kind of some stuff you might want to remember. Good. All right, everybody's reaching for paper. Okay, so write down, ask for what you want and take care of what you get. And then right under that, write the word trim vertically, T-R-I-M. And then I'm going to tell you what T-R-I-M stands for. The T is for testimonials. There is nothing better than a solid, excellent testimonial. You need to be asking for them. Okay, now I'm lucky because I have testimonials that are going to live forever because they happen to be in the acknowledgement section of many books. And I mentioned, to people when they're doing their acknowledgement section that, you're in charge of it. You don't have to, you just thank whoever you want, and they always end up thanking me, which is really nice. Right, Don? And I've just had some of the most amazing things said about it. So I treasure, try that again. I was going to say cherish and treasure at the same time. It came out something else. I treasure those, okay? So testimonials. The second letter is the R, is for referrals. I personally only work with referrals. I never have to do anything on my computer. I don't have to do anything online. I am referral-based 1,000%. I worked at that. Okay, that is my choice, and that's the way I like it. The I is inspiration. And by the way, you can all do this too, I promise. Inspiration. I am inspired and inspiring in my day-to-day. That's what I'm hoping to do. I want to inspire and be inspired. I want to be just as jazzed about working with somebody as they are by having their product created, okay? So there's an energy to that that's really special. The last one is money. The M is money. So I recommend you research what other people in your industry are making per hour, per job, per whatever the thing is that's right for you. And don't be afraid to ask for the same or more. How many people have raised their fees in the last 6 months? One person. Okay, everybody needs to raise their fees by the end of this year, so that next year you've raised your fees. So you can let people know that you're going to do that in a kind way, and that they could maybe take advantage of something with you right now at the current rate, but your rates are going up. Promise? Everybody? Okay, all right, awesome. That was easy. All right, so remember we said ask for what you ask for what you want and take care of what you get. So what is the, oops, excuse me, I didn't turn my paper the right way. Hold on. 2, 3. Oh, yeah, okay. So now the take part. I said take care of what you get. So take stands for thoroughness, acknowledgement, kindness, evaluation. So let's talk about thoroughness. If you are very clear about what your services are, what you're willing to do, and what you don't want to do, you don't get caught in a vortex of garbage, where you're doing things that you did not mean to do, and you're not getting paid for it. All right? So you have to be thorough in how you craft your offer. You have to be thorough in how you craft your contract, so that if there is something that, for example, should be a change order, in other words, let's say in my case, I have to completely re-edit something, which has happened. There should be a change order to that. It should not just be to the flat fee that I charged up front. I should have said, and this is how I've gotten caught in this, I should have said, okay, and if we're going to change the whole thing, here's how we have to do that. Okay? So you have to be clear, and you have to be thorough. And be thorough in your timeline. Be clear about what you can do and how long it's going to take, and don't skimp. Don't make a mistake, you know, saying I can do something in 5 minutes when it's going to be 5 days. The A is acknowledgement. Now, I love the idea of acknowledging myself and my client, because a lot of times the client is working just as hard as I am to get the work done. Right, Don? Definitely. And it's nice to hear that, you know, the client wants to know they're doing a good job, and I'm pleased, you know, and I think this is going great. So it's fun. It's nice. And they like to please me, and I want them to know that that did happen. Believe it or not, does this make sense to you that they want me to be pleased with how this is going? They really do. All right, the K is for kindness. Now, that is a watchword of the B Tour. It is a watchword of my life. Kindness gets you miles and miles and miles of goodwill. Am I right? Cannot do anything without kindness. The last one is evaluation. So how are you doing? What is your favorite thing to do in your business? What do you need to abandon? Believe me, there are things that you will abandon. And how many people have ever fired a client? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, good. Isn't that awesome? It's like, you know what? I was going to make $1,500 from you the other day, or in a few days, but I don't want it. Because it's a drain, right? So I'm done. You know, see ya. Now, I don't put it that way, but remember the kindness comes in first. All right, I want you to write this number down, 623-824-2727. That is my cell phone. I have never done this in my entire life. Okay? I'm serious. Nobody has my phone number except my friends and my family. I want you to call me if you have a question about getting your ask in gear. All right? I want you to call me if you would like to brainstorm for 10 or 15 minutes. Gratis. And it will be my pleasure to serve you between now and the end of the year. Do you want me to repeat the phone number? 623-824-2727. My name is Deborah Louise Brown. I am a change maker. I loved that mint green dress with the big bow in the back. And thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to shift gears. I'm going to lead an exercise. So you do need a blank piece of paper. And I want you to put some thought for a few minutes before we start writing anything into who in your life, in person, in other words, a personal person, that's good. A person that you know is what I was trying to say. Or someone who is a public figure, alive or deceased, that has been either a mentor, somebody that's important to you, somebody you've learned something from, just like the most inspirational person you can think of. It can be a man or a woman. The man may choose a man or a woman and vice versa. It doesn't matter. When you have that, just kind of let me know somehow. We'll just kind of monitor it for a minute. But I'd like for you to think about who that person is. Okay? Got it? Okay? You got it? Okay. You got it? Yes? What? You're going to have to try harder. I don't want to, stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking is one of my things I do, by the way. Stop talking. Let me talk. You better find one, Dawn. Okay. At the top of your piece of paper, and it's going to need to be that long piece of paper with the notes on it, because I want you to write for a few minutes. I want you to write the name of that person at the top of that piece of paper. And I want you to do this in the present tense, as if, even if that person is deceased, I want you to do it in the present tense. So it's going to start with either she is or he is. And you're going to list the attributes that make you choose that person as your person of the day. All right, so it's either she is or he is. And I want you to start writing whenever you're comfortable to do that, and we're going to give you about 5 minutes. And I'd love you to do it in complete sentences and try to fill the page. Go. Let's go for 1 more minute. I love the fact that everybody's still writing. I think this is a good exercise. Okay. I would like for somebody to offer to tell me who their person is, and go ahead and read, if you will. Go ahead. And let me get us a mic. Or I'll tell you what, if you'll just step up and take this one, or I'll come down. You know what? Let me do that. And we need to go to the middle. Right here.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Del. The person I'm referencing is my dad. He's an amazing dad, confidant, friend, and future life coach. And the reason I said future life coach, he's 90 years old. He's still giving me inspiration of what life can be if you're so lucky to reach and attain that age. In fact, today he's on a cruise. He left this morning for a cruise to the Caribbean. And he's still living his best life. He considers himself to have lived well beyond what the Bible promised, which is 70. And for those who can do the math and know what a score is, it's 20. So that's 70. And the fact that he's 90, he felt like he's got 20 years more than what the Bible promised. And again, he's living his best years now. He's traveling. He says he's in the departure line of life. So whenever the master calls him, he's prepared to go. So why worry about that? So right now, he figures he'll just keep living until such time as the master calls him home. Thank you.
Blessings to you and your dad. That's awesome. All right, who else? Dawn, who did you do? Okay, you want to read what you wrote? Hold on. Come. Walk over here. Please. I'm saying please.
I could have picked a lot of people in this room, so that's why I had a hard time. I picked Mother Teresa. I said she's kind, she's loving, she's compassionate, she's caring, she has love for the innocents, she's genuine, she changed the world. She left a legacy of love and kindness.
I love that. Thank you for doing the exercise. I love it. All right, who else would like to share? Yes.
I want to share just to honor this particular person. His name is Rev Ron. He's my spiritual practitioner, which is like a spiritual therapist. And I wrote about him. I said he's a bright, shining light, wise beyond words, listens intently, evocative in nature. He helps me discover myself and truth through questions. He's healthy and vibrant, energized, yet grounded and fully present. He's in the moment. He's a bit flirtatious. He's direct, deep, powerful, amazing, and he loves me and sees me clearly, which gives me space to show up as a person I truly am.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anybody over here? Anybody else over here? You? No? Come. Okay, I'll bring it to you. Hold on one second. Hold on.
I'm probably repeating some of Dawn's things, but the number one thing I said about her was she was so loving, and she was unselfish, generous, inspiring, and making a positive difference in the world. She was spiritual. This is the most important thing. She was brave to do what she did. She was honest, understanding, and very devoted to what she was doing.
Thank you for that. All right, I'd like two more. Go ahead, please. Up here. Thank you. And I just met you and hugged you like 10 minutes ago, so this is a good thing.
Thanks. Mine is my son, Mania. He's 8. He is me. He is exactly me, so he is my test. He tests me mentally and physically every day, so I have to keep up with him, and he teaches me a lot about myself, things I see in him, good and bad, and he pushes me for a better me, and I push him for a better him, but it's a total mirror, so it's really testing, but he's my guy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Thanks.
it. Thank you for sharing that. All right, one more. Chris, I knew you were coming. I knew I could count on you. I can count on all of you.
Hi, everyone. I chose my mother, actually. And what I wrote was, she is kind, caring, and loving. She is someone I can call when everything seems to be spiraling out of control. She is the one person who does not make me feel guilty about doing what is best for me, and she is proud of me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to wait until Chris gets back to his seat. Nobody else wants to share? Nobody else? Okay. Oh, did you say yes? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so now here's what I want you to do with the piece of paper. Where's your paper? Everybody get back your paper. Okay. You ready, Dawn? Cross off the name at the top and put your name. And where it said she is or he is, put I am. And now read it again. Okay? There's a takeaway that you are now welcome to own for the rest of your lives. Thank you.
It is getting close to lunchtime, but I don't have a schedule, so I don't know. What time is it? Does anybody have time? 12:10. Then it is indeed lunchtime. We have a fantastic lunch made by Wanderlust, so everybody please go help yourselves, enjoy. We will get everybody back here by 1:10, 1:15. Enjoy.